The world of Silent Hill is filled with many dark and unsettling mysteries. Among the most profound of these is the ritual of the Holy Assumption. This is not a simple ceremony, it is a complex and terrifying rite practiced by the town's secretive cult known as the Order. The primary goal of this ritual is to bring about the birth of their god and create a paradise on earth. However, their idea of paradise is a twisted one, born from suffering and sacrifice. The ritual is steeped in ancient lore and demands a deep, unwavering faith from its followers, a faith that often leads them down a path of unimaginable horror and bloodshed. It represents the core of the cult's beliefs, a desperate attempt to force their will upon the world. The ritual of the Holy Assumption is a central thread that runs through the history of Silent Hill, particularly in the story of Silent Hill 4, The Room. It is a process that requires meticulous, albeit gruesome, preparation. The cult believes that by following a precise set of instructions, they can purify a chosen individual and transform them into a vessel for their deity. This transformation is not a gentle one. It involves immense pain and the shedding of innocent blood. The ritual itself is shrouded in secrecy, with only the most devout members of the Order understanding its true nature and the terrible price that must be paid to see it through to its conclusion. This dark ceremony is designed to create what the cult calls the receiver of wisdom, a person who will serve as the mother to their god. The ritual is intended to imbue this individual with immense spiritual power, preparing her for the divine birth. The steps are methodical and cruel, reflecting the cult's belief that purity can only be achieved through the cleansing fire of suffering. The entire town of Silent Hill with its otherworldly power acts as a crucible for these events. The fog, the monsters, and the shifting reality are all connected to the immense spiritual energy that the cult attempts to harness through rites like the Holy Assumption. The town itself seems to be a participant in their dark ambitions. The full details of the ritual are not completely known, which only adds to its terrifying allure. What we do know comes from fragmented texts, ghostly visions, and the desperate accounts of those who have been caught in its wake. The Order has gone to great lengths to protect its secrets, ensuring that only a select few are privy to the complete doctrine. This ambiguity makes the ritual of the Holy Assumption even more menacing. It is a puzzle with missing pieces, a story told in whispers and shadows. This lack of clear information forces us to imagine the full extent of its horror, making it a powerful source of fear that lingers long after the story ends. The most infamous figure connected to the ritual of the Holy Assumption is a man named Walter Sullivan. Walter was an orphan raised in the Wish House, an orphanage run by the Order. From a young age, he was indoctrinated into the cult's beliefs. He was taught that his purpose was to complete the 21 sacraments, a variation of the ritual designed to purify himself and awaken the mother within room 302 of the South Ashfield Heights apartment building. This room, he was told, was his true mother. Walter's entire life became a twisted pilgrimage, a mission to fulfill the dark destiny that the cult had laid out for him since he was a child. His story is one of profound tragedy and brainwashing. Walter Sullivan's journey culminated in room 302, a place that became the epicenter of his ritual. After a long and violent killing spree, he returned to this apartment to complete the final crucial step. He performed the ritual of Holy Assumption upon himself, believing it would make him the 11th of the 21 sacraments. This act involved a gruesome self-crucifixion, turning his own body into a sacrifice. The authorities eventually broke down the door to room 302, only to find a scene of unimaginable horror. Walter's body was discovered, lifeless, with the numbers 11/21 carved into his flesh, marking his place in the sequence of his own terrifying ceremony. The scene in room 302 was a chilling tableau of the cult's power. Alongside Walter's body, investigators found numerous objects related to the Order. There were sacred texts, strange symbols painted on the walls, and other ritualistic items. Most disturbingly, they found the hearts of his 10 previous victims, stored away as part of the ritual's requirements. This discovery confirmed that Walter's actions were not random acts of violence, but a calculated and methodical religious ceremony. The apartment itself seemed to absorb the dark energy of his actions, becoming a haunted space. A wound in reality that would continue to affect future tenants for years to come. Through this ultimate act of self-sacrifice, Walter Sullivan did not truly die. Instead, he became something else entirely. A ghost. A memory. A force of malevolence forever tied to room 302. He became the 11th sacrament, just as he intended. His physical body was gone, but his spirit lingered, powerful and dangerous, able to continue his quest for the remaining sacraments from beyond the grave. His transformation is a terrifying example of the ritual's success, demonstrating that the cult's dark beliefs could manifest in reality, creating a monster born from devotion and despair. He was no longer just a man, he was a living embodiment of the ritual itself. The ritual of the Holy Assumption, as performed by Walter Sullivan, has very specific and horrifying requirements. The most significant of these is the need for 10 sacrifices. These are not just random killings, they represent the 10 hearts, each one meant to cleanse a specific sin or impurity from the world, thereby purifying the ritual's subject. Walter meticulously chose his victims, hunting them down and carving numbers into their bodies to mark their place in his sacred count. Each heart he took was a step closer to his own twisted form of salvation. This part of the ritual highlights the cold, calculated nature of the cult's doctrine, where human life is merely a tool for achieving their spiritual goals. While the 10 hearts are the most gruesome components, the ritual also appears to require certain sacred objects. These items are imbued with spiritual significance by the order, and are essential for the ceremony to succeed. In the aftermath of Walter's actions in room 302, several such items were discovered. Among them were artifacts like the obsidian goblet and a bottle of white chrism. The exact purpose of these items within the ritual is not fully explained, but they are clearly important. The goblet might be used for a ceremonial drink, while the chrism could be a sacred oil for anointing, similar to rites in other religions, but used here for a much darker purpose. The ambiguity surrounding these ritual implements is a key part of the mystery. We are shown these objects, but their complete function remains hidden within the secret teachings of the Order. Are they used to consecrate the space? Do they help channel the otherworldly energies of Silent Hill? Or are they simply symbolic, representing key tenets of their faith? This uncertainty is intentional. It creates a sense of a deeper, more complex mythology that we are only seeing a small part of. The obsidian goblet and white chrism are like puzzle pieces from a much larger, more terrifying picture of the cult's practices and beliefs. The collection of these items and the completion of the 10 sacrifices represent a significant portion of the ritual's physical requirements. They are the tangible, worldly actions that must be taken to achieve a supernatural result. Walter's dedication to this process, from hunting his victims to gathering the necessary artifacts, shows the level of devotion demanded by the Order. The ritual is a blend of brutal violence and solemn ceremony, a dark mirror of more traditional religious practices. It is a path paved with death and esoteric objects, all leading to a transformation that blurs the line between the living and the dead, the holy and the profane. The ritual of the Holy Assumption is not an isolated event. Its roots run deep within the lore of Silent Hill. Its existence is referenced in other religious texts found throughout the series, most notably in a book known as the Ivory Testament. This text, which appears in different forms, contains passages that seem to describe the principles behind the ritual. It speaks of purification through suffering and the creation of a divine being, connecting Walter Sullivan's personal quest to the broader theological framework of the Order. This shows that the ritual was not Walter's invention, but an established, ancient practice that he was chosen to enact in a new and terrible way. The connection to the larger narrative of Silent Hill is crucial. The cult's ultimate goal has always been the birth of their god, a goal pursued through various means in different games. The ritual of the Holy Assumption is one method, while the ceremonies involving Alessa Gillespie in the first game are another. Both rituals involve a chosen individual, immense suffering, and the manipulation of supernatural forces. This thematic link shows that the Order is persistent, constantly trying new ways to achieve its ends. Walter's ritual is just one chapter in a long and bloody history of the cult's attempts to reshape the world according to their dark faith. The legacy of the ritual is one of perpetual horror. Even after Walter Sullivan's physical death, the effects of his ceremony linger powerfully. Room 302 becomes a gateway, a haunted space where the barrier between our world and the other world is thin. The ritual essentially cursed the apartment, turning it into a prison for its future inhabitants and a hunting ground for Walter's ghost. This enduring influence demonstrates the power of the cult's beliefs. In Silent Hill, faith, no matter how twisted, has the power to physically alter reality, leaving scars that never fully heal. The ritual created a permanent echo of suffering. Ultimately, Much about the ritual of the Holy Assumption remains a terrifying enigma. We know its purpose, we know some of its requirements, and we have seen its horrific results through Walter Sullivan's story. However, the exact step-by-step process, the full meaning of the symbols, and the true extent of its power are left to our imagination. This deliberate vagueness is a hallmark of Silent Hill's storytelling. It respects the idea that what we do not know is often far more frightening than what we are shown. The ritual is a dark secret at the heart of the town's history, a testament to the chilling power of belief and the endless night that threatens to consume Silent Hill.